the lady who is supposed to chair the meeting is struggling to join the meeting for now. So I'm standing in for her for the moment. My name is Caspar Kamtando. I think I should start with the welcome remarks, then the program can go on from there. Let me start by saying, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. All protocols observed. I would like to extend a sincere welcome to all of you for joining this webinar organized by the Zimbabwe Plant Breeders Association in collaboration with the Agricultural Research Council of Zimbabwe. In addition, I would greatly appreciate the presence of our speaker for today, Dr. Cosmos Magorokosho, who is currently serving in the capacity of Chief Executive Officer of the Agricultural Research Council. Allow me to briefly give you a bit of some background information about Dr. Magorokosho. Dr. Magorokosho is a PhD alumni of the Texas A&M in the United States of America, and also an alumni of the University of Zimbabwe, where he attained his BSc and Master's qualifications. He mentored several plant breeding professionals during the period he was affiliated with the International Center for Maize and Wheat Improvement, and is a very much respected scientist in the field of maize breeding. In this webinar, the role and the function of the Agricultural Research Council, which is an entity that operates under the Ministry of Lands, Agriculture, Fisheries, and Rural Settlement, will be detailed to you. I do hope today's seminar will be useful and interesting to you all. On behalf of the Zimbabwe Plant Breeders Association Executive Committee, I would want once again to say thank you very much for being with us this afternoon. Good day and God bless. Let me give the opportunity to invite Dr. Magorokosho to share with us the address for today.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Kamtando. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Magorokosho Cosmos. I am currently with the Agricultural Research Council, and I will give a talk about what we do, our role and functions. I hope you can see my screen so that I can now expand it. Can somebody confirm you can see the presentation?
Yes, we can, Doc. We can see it.
Okay, so I can actually put it in the presentation mode.
Yeah, that will be fine.
Okay, thank you very much. So this is going to be my presentation. I'm doing this on behalf of my two colleagues, Mr. David Mangemba, who has been at the Agricultural Research Council for quite a while, as well as Mr. Clement Mapika, who has also been there for quite a while. I joined the Research Council just 3 months ago. Okay, let me start by giving you a brief background of the Agricultural Research Council. The council was established under an Act of Parliament in 1971, that's a while ago, with the role to coordinate agriculture research in Zimbabwe, to develop human capacity and agriculture research infrastructure in Zimbabwe, and to foster innovation to support and develop the agriculture research sector in the country. So despite the age of the Act, I think it is still very relevant to our work today. So our mandate is that the Agricultural Research Council is the apex body of all agricultural research that happens in Zimbabwe. So we have so many entities that are engaged in agricultural research, but they are all kind of operating in small partnerships or in different silos and all the like. So the council is the apex body, the glue that is supposed to bring together all entities that are operating in the agriculture research and development fraternal in Zimbabwe. In the past, we used to have very few entities engaged in agriculture research. It was mainly the DRNSS and a little bit of agri-techs, and then that was basically all. But now, over the years, the agriculture research playground has actually expanded to more than 50 entities. So the Research Council is there to make sure that all the activities that are going on are coordinated and they have the same purpose of meeting the national requirements. So the Agriculture Research Council is a vision, a mission, and values like any other organization. So the vision is for the council to be a leader for the development and advancement of agriculture research in Zimbabwe by 2030. Our mission is to coordinate and support agriculture research and development across the country. We have core values which are transparency, integrity, professionalism, inclusivity, and accountability, just like any other organization. So what are our overall functions? Number one, to review all agriculture research and development activities in the country, especially with attention to gauging the adequacy, to see that is to gauge and say, is this research that is going on in the different areas, is it adequate? Is it appropriate? Does it meet the national requirements? So that is one of the major functions of the council. The second one is promotion of all agriculture research and development in Zimbabwe. This is very simple and straightforward. We would like all the agriculture research and development to be directed to the national needs as we move forward. At the moment, we have what is called NDS1, National Development Strategy 1, and very soon there will be what is called National Development Strategy 2. These are government policies that are meant to make sure that agriculture development continues in Zimbabwe. And the research that is supposed to happen is supposed to fit in those development strategies. Again, the council is supposed to ensure maximum coordination to avoid silos, to avoid duplication, and to ensure efficient use of resources. The council is there to coordinate all agriculture research. The council is there to support agriculture research and development. Anybody who wants to engage in agriculture, they need any information, supporting proposals, and all the like. So the council is there to do that. And then once in a while, with the approval of the minister, the council can carry out agriculture research for specific topics. But this is not the main aim of the council. It's only in rare cases that we are supposed to carry out the research, but the provision is there in the Act. So we have two divisions. We have the technical division and the administrative division. The technical division basically exists to facilitate identification of what needs to be done, prioritize those research activities that need to be done for development. The technical division is also there to assess the relevance. I've already talked about this at the beginning, but we have a technical division that is supposed to assess the relevance, the adequacy, and the impact of all agriculture research activities that are conducted in the country. Coordination of teams that are supposed to conduct research, institutions that are supposed to conduct research. The council is there to become the glue of that. The council is also there to review and facilitate capacity development in the agriculture sector, particularly human capacity development, as well as infrastructure development. The council is also there to collect, package, and disseminate research and development information in the form of journals, in the form of newsletters, in the form of websites, and in the form of social media platforms that exist. We have a finance and admin division. that operates just like any other organization to make sure that all the administrative issues, that financial issues, the compliance issues are adhered to. So we have a section that deals with that, but I will tell you about how thin our staff are as we go. So one of the few things we've been doing in the last couple of months is to map out the stakeholders that are involved in agriculture research. We didn't find a one-stop shop where you could say, these are the entities that are conducting agriculture research in Zimbabwe. So we began by running a mapping exercise to find out who is doing agriculture research. And as you can see on the slide, we have quite a number of groups of people doing agriculture research, institutions that are doing agriculture research. And I think our total at the moment is close to about 50. We have about 50 entities that are now doing agriculture research in the country, in different places, in different areas, and with different capacities, different resources, and the like. So you can see the Agriculture Research Council is supposed to be at the center to make sure that all this research that is happening in each and every place is coordinated. So we have universities conducting agriculture research, both state and private. Examples are our famous UZ in Harare, the strong agriculture research department. We also have on the private sector, the Africa University in Mutare and many other universities. Government departments research is no longer being done just by what was called DRNSS, now called ARID. We have the Department of Veterinary Research. They carry out a lot of research. We have a little bit of adoption research, verification research being done by Agri-Tex, which is now called ARDAS. The Water Department is doing a bit of research on agriculture with mechanization, and there's other departments that are doing agriculture research. We have state-aided enterprise and parastatals. Examples are the PIB, the Scientific and Industrial Development Center, SEDIC, we have NBA, we have ACFD, we have Kutaga. They are all under the state-aided and parastatal sector. They are all doing agriculture research. Private sector, we have seed companies engaged in agriculture research, particularly plant breeding, crop protection, and the like. We have the fertilizer companies, we have the feeds, we have chemical companies. We even have our Zimbabwe sugar experiment station doing agriculture research from a private perspective. Then we have other people who do not really fall into these classes. Art farm, we have donors doing research here and there. We have organizations like CIRAD. They do not necessarily fall into the CG centers, but they do agriculture research. And we have farmers who are experimenting a little bit of things on their own, and they're all doing agriculture research. We have NGOs, examples like CARE, World Vision, CRS, and GOV. They are all doing some agriculture research. The CG centers, they are all there. You can see them. They are really engaged in agriculture research. And then under the UN system, we have FAO, UNDP, doing agriculture research, and organizations like the World Bank, Africa Development Bank, supporting agriculture research. So from the survey that we initiated, you can see the proportions there on the pie chart. The big chunk of agriculture research is done by the government, and then the academia, the private sector, with parastatal, CG centers, and the like. So this is the outcome of the survey. So we have quite a number of players that are engaged in agriculture research, and all this requires a coordination. So what are we doing again in the stakeholder mapping area? We are continuing to identify more players because these are not the only ones that are there. The strange thing in Zim is you can go to a rural area or a district and you find a funny organization or a funny little NGO doing some kind of agriculture research there. So we are trying to continue capturing information and identify all those people that are doing agriculture research in different places. We think we are about 90% done, but we'll continue exploring that. And then we'll add on more players as new people come in and register. As we move on, we are also proposing a system where all R&D players register with the council, the Agriculture Research Council. Right now, we don't have an official way of knowing who is who, except just these surveys that we are doing. In the country, we have the Research Council of Zimbabwe, which is the umbrella body for all research activities in the country. And in their act, there's supposed to be registration of all entities that are doing agriculture research in Zimbabwe. And I don't know whether this is happening or not. But as we move forward as a council, we really want to officially register all the players that are engaged in agriculture research so that we put in a smooth coordination mechanism. We set the priorities together. We discuss and agree on the focus of what needs to be done. And then we jointly monitor, evaluate, and learn from those activities. So these are the plans that we have as we move forward. We are also planning to launch a survey to gather information on exactly what are the projects that are going on in the country, what are the programs that are going on in the country. At the moment, we don't have this information in one place. It becomes very difficult to play a coordinating role without knowing what is happening. So we'll be launching this survey in the next several weeks as we move on. We would also like to hold an all stakeholder gathering as soon as we can, as soon as we have enough resources, so that jointly all these stakeholders can put their heads together and discuss research priorities for the country, what needs to be done based on, in alignment with national strategy that I've talked about, NDC1, NDC2, and the strategy that is existing in the Ministry of Agriculture. The whole idea is all this research that is supposed to happen in Zimbabwe is supposed to be aligned to the national priority. So we hope to have an all stakeholder gathering as soon as we can, probably sometime early next year, because we think this is very important so that we work together. Any new project that anybody wants to develop should be falling into these priorities so that we talk with one voice. We have also started looking at who is who in terms of conducting agriculture research. What are the skills that are available out there? We did a quick survey. Thank you very much to quite a number of you who contributed to the survey. It is still ongoing. And if you know other people that can benefit from this survey, please just forward that little WhatsApp or email that we send out. Even though the end date said 29 September, the survey is still open, and we really want to gather as more and more information as possible. I also tell you why it is important to register, because one of the reasons is if we want to build teams in future, we want to source funds, and if you are not registered, you will not be known and will not be able to involve you in all the activities that we want to do. So it's very important for people to register with this. Just a quick analysis of what we got. Gender analysis, about 2/3 of our researchers are male, and then the other research is female. So we hope there's an opportunity for looking for scholarships, for sponsorships, for aiding the female researchers so that they can also increase in number and become visible. So this is one of the important aspects that we want to use this information to look for resources to support our female researchers so that their number increases in proportion to the male researchers. The other outcome are the age groups of these researchers. Excuse me, there's somebody who's playing some music on the radio. Hello, somebody was playing some reggae music. It's too early for that. Okay, I was saying the other outcome of the survey, a quick one, is the age groups for our researchers. I think we have a normal distribution of what is expected. Normally, the retirement age for most organizations, including government and CG centers and other places, about 60 years. So I'm not so sure whether we have the right balance of number of researchers that will be retiring versus number of researchers that will be coming into active research as we go forward. So we just also want, if you have some ideas, we just want to know what you think about that distribution of age groups for our researchers. It is very important for planning future capacity building events as we move forward. But we think for now it looks like it's okay, but I think maybe we also need a little bit of increase in the number of young researchers. I think their percentage there is a little bit low, the 21 to 30 age group, even though we have a good spread on the 31 to about 60 age group. So this is very important. If you have comments, suggestions, let us know about the implications of this. But we think that this can guide capacity building and training for future scientists, particularly the young ones. And then we also have a distribution of the highest qualifications. We still have a few people doing research on the diploma level. But I think that if I look at the number of BSc researchers versus masters and PhDs, I think that we probably need to also invest in increasing the number of people with bachelors who are engaged in research. My own thinking about this scenario is probably that BSc people are graduating but are not able to find employment in the agriculture sector. That's why we have very few people in the agriculture research sector. So this is my own interpretation, but I think it's important for all of us to analyze this information and put our heads together on what it means. So we have a lot of other information that we have, but we'll do a final analysis toward the end of the year. We want to have another blitz of asking people to register in the next couple of weeks so that we have adequate numbers. We have looked at institute by institute, and we are following up to make sure that we have numbers that represent what is exactly on the ground. So, as we are building this database of agriculture researchers, what do we want to use it for? One of the main things that we want to use it for is on resource mobilization. This is a key element to as we move forward. Our idea is that we need to generate our own resources and not rely on the government 100%. At the moment, we are 100% funded by the government, but we don't think this is sustainable. So we've been brainstorming, discussing with different people, and one of the things we want to do is create thematic research teams of people that are really very prolific in writing grants. So that is one of the reasons why I was saying it's very important to register in this staff survey, because from there we can then identify who are the prolific grant writers, and then we put together thematic research teams, and then we work with these grant writers to look for funding. The funding is not necessarily to support the existence of the Agriculture Research Council, but once we have a pool of funding, the funding is to support research that all these entities I've talked about, the parastatals, the universities, even the CG centers, and everybody else who is involved in research. The whole idea of the Agriculture Research Council is to get funds through partnerships and from the donors, and then direct it to the organizations that are doing research. So it's an additional source of funding for most organizations. So that's why we want to create those research teams, those thematic research teams in different regions of the country. And then we start proactively and vigorously looking for funding to direct to the research priorities that the stakeholders will have agreed on. So that is very, very important. Of course, we keep appealing to our treasury to get competitive research grants. If we get these, we'll open them up to competition from the different research organizations. In the past, it used to work very well. The government will provide a big chunk of funding, and then they will ask the Agriculture Research Council to work with the different stakeholders for funding. So we want to revive that, and hopefully we'll be able to do that a little bit as we move into 2024. We are also preparing to submit an appeal to the Ministry of Agriculture so that we get a small percentage of the agro GDP for the country, so that is directed to agriculture research and development. Once we get that, then these are opportunities that are open to people like plant breeders. They can submit concept notes, they can submit research proposals, and then the teams in the agriculture research technical division can then look at them, scrutinize them, and decide which ones are to fund it. So these are opportunities that we want to create. At the same time, we want to also propose a policy position for the Ministry of Agriculture to source private funding from the private sector through the corporate social responsibility things that these organizations have. So if we get these funds, again, we can be able to direct them to research entities that are doing research according to prioritized areas that the stakeholders agree on. On the other hand, ARC is also actively engaged in seeking land from the government so that we can run our own income generating projects for sustaining the council, as well as generating income that can be directed to fund research by the teams, people like the plant breeders, any other scientists. So we are actively doing that. Another activity that the council has to be done, is mandated to do, is to collect and disseminate agriculture research information. We used to have the Zimbabwe Journal of Agriculture Research. This is the last, I think this is probably the last version that was produced about 20 years ago, or more than 20 years ago. And at ARC, we are actively engaged in reviving this journal. So a research editorial board has been formed. It has met once. I think we are going to meet again in the next few days to chart the way forward. The editorial board has already developed the guidelines for submitting publications, and these guidelines are available at the ARC website. Anyone is free to look at them, and anyone is free to think about looking at what they can submit. Currently, we are calling for papers from the prospective authors, so I'm urging, if there are people on this platform who have some research that they've done, they want published, please get in touch with us at ARC. Our idea is, once we get a sizable number of publications, the editorial board and the reviewers, they will sit, decide on what qualifies to go into the first edition, first in quotation, because this will be first after a long line. So we want to run a write shop to support those authors so that they can finalize their publications with the help of specialists. So this is already planned. I think we're at an advanced stage. We probably already have the funding to do that. So I'm urging the plant breeders, take advantage of this opportunity to submit your papers for publication. We also have quite a number of hard copy journals that are still in our office. So if you pass through there, please grab a copy. If you come to the agricultural show or any other place where ARC will be operating, we still have some hard copies of the Zimbabwe Journal of Agriculture Research. Amazingly, if you look at the contents and the quality of the publications, even in the last edition, it was very good quality science, international standards. So you don't need to worry about the quality of the journal. You don't need to worry about the citation index and many other things. We'll build that together as you submit quality publications. So this is part of the big thing that we are trying to do. We hope that very soon we should have a first edition, a digital edition with a few print copies for our principals and a few organizations that may want to have a copy. So this is a very important opportunity that is available to the plant breeding fraternity. The Agriculture Research Council has been a little bit dormant in the last few years. It's been invisible. It was existing, it's invisible, but we really want to make the council very visible. So we have started running these monthly webinars, including this current one, just to alert people about the existence of the Agriculture Research Council, what we are trying to do, where we want to go, and also once in a while we bring in experts to present to the researchers on scientific concepts that that may be of interest to agriculture researchers. We have already discussed with one presenter at the 1CG, our own Zimbabwean presenter. So we are planning another presentation soon. We also have lined up a presentation on soil health. This is an issue that is becoming very, very important and critical in Zimbabwe. So we are planning to have another webinar on that as soon as we move forward. And then finally, we have on the cards the Zimbabwe Agricultural Revolution 3 document or publication that is being put together. So we want the lead people putting together that document. Usually it's a book, Zimbabwe Agricultural Revolution. Number 1 has been done, number 2 has been done, so number 3 is being put together. So we want the group of people who are putting together that document or that book to present to the Zimbabwean research fraternity on what they are doing and also ask for suggestions, solutions, and feedback. So these are the upcoming webinars. We are also reviving our newsletter and magazine. We have received quite a number of articles from different people. We keep encouraging researchers, if you have a story that is not at the level of technical quality, like for publication in a journal, but just an informative article about, for example, what you are doing at your university, at your NGO, at your CG center, or any other organization that is doing agriculture research. We just put together this information so that people keep knowing about the events and things like that. So we are reviving that newsletter so that it becomes regular on a quarterly basis. Now it has been published, but very irregular. We want to revive that to be regular. So if you have articles that you want, we can talk to your communications people, we can talk to your PR people, we can guide them on what kind of articles we need. These are not high technical articles, so please share with us. We also aim to have a serious media blitz to publicize the Agriculture Research Council. You rarely see the Agriculture Research Council in the newspapers or on the radio, TV, social media, even to see banners in events like field days and things like that. You rarely see Agriculture Research Council. So we want to revive that and really do a serious media blitz to make Agriculture Research Council very visible. And then we are also targeting to produce specific information like bulletins, brochures, targeted at specific groups in society, specific groups in the research domain, postgraduate students. What can they benefit from the Agriculture Research Council? What can they do to contribute to agriculture research? And can they have a career in agriculture research? Those kinds of things we want to actually put together targeted information that can help enhance or give interest to postgraduate students to get involved in agriculture research. And we also want to have a real home for the council. Right now, we are moving from one rented office to another. And when you do that, you become a little bit invisible because you are under the shadow of whoever is offering you your accommodation and the like. So we are trying to find our own home where we can actually generate our own income, as I've said, but at the same time, we can have a technology demonstration and verification center, a one-stop place where if somebody comes from outside Zimbabwe, they want to know about agriculture research, that would be the one-stop place where the person can get agriculture research information and see what is happening. So, but for this to happen, especially the technology demonstration and verification, we will need your support in terms of, we can provide the land once we get it, in terms of what you want to demonstrate. So we can be doing that together. And then some of the things that we also want to do as a council is to reinvigorate our ARC web page, and then link that with social media so that we are always visible here and there, things like ResearchGate, academia, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the like. So we are working on that. It's ongoing work. I've already talked about an annual stakeholder meeting to work on priorities, but at the same time, to also review what has happened. in the past and make sure that nothing is amiss, and we talk about the future jointly. So hopefully we'll have an annual review meeting. I'm not sure this year we'll be able to have one, but probably next year. The Agriculture Research Council is also tasked with running a symposia every 1 or 2 years. We have to put together all the agriculture research players so that they present in a symposia workshop forum. I think we just had one this year that was conducted in February. The Agriculture Research Council wants to keep doing that. The previous one was done with coordinated by DRI and SS, and we want to work with DRI and SS as we move towards another one. We are also seriously engaged with networking with other entities. I see you can see a big list there with FANAPRAN, CADESA, many other things. So we want to link our local agriculture research council with other entities and bodies that are conducting agriculture research either in Zimbabwe or outside, so that we have a pool of information, new technologies coming in, how we can benefit, sources of funding, etc., etc. So we are busy doing that. The Agriculture Research Center is also the center of choice to support people who want to do research, and they may not be having a partner, a government partner, or they may be having challenges finding a partner that meets the donor requirements or any other things. We have already gathered from our discussions that there are quite a number of researchers who are not really finding it easy to get grants because they don't have a government supporter, or they don't really feel into what is happening in DRNDSS or any other research organization. And they want some kind of independent, donors may want some kind of independent supporting organization. So the Agriculture Research Council is there to provide that support. So feel free to come to us if you want to do a grant and there's need for government support and you feel that the ARC can support. We will not be charging you for that support. Of course, we'll just be asking for what is called those support fees, very limited, very minimal fees. We can also hold your purse. That means if you have funding that you want held by an independent body or a body that may not fit the purpose of a donor, let me say like that, the Agriculture Research Council is there to do that for you. Even though we are under government, we are a parastatal, we have independence in holding our own accounts, running our own funds, and that kind of thing. So we are there to support agriculture research, researchers who may want that kind of thing. Right now, we are working with an NGO called CADS. I think they are applying for a grant for an agroecology project. We have provided all the necessary support and we wish them well. It's a big grant and we hope they will get that. We continue supporting a local project called Takunda that is being conducted with a local NGO, and we are the funds are coming from outside the country, and we are the local coordinating partner, even though the NGO is the implementing partner. So we do that kind of thing. We also have an ERI project as well as a project that is run by the Department of Veterinary Services that we are supporting on a minimal basis. So please feel free to come to us if you really want independent support for seeking a grant or for holding your grant or for coordinating of a grant. We are there to do that. Additionally, at the council, we are doing a few things. Don't worry about the length of the paragraph there. We are doing a few things that we think can drive agriculture research as we move forward. Number one, I told you that the Agriculture Research Council Act was established in 1971. So between 1971 and now, quite a number of things have happened, particularly on technology front. So the Agriculture Research Council is busy identifying new innovative research teams that can be helpful to the country. Some of the things are already ongoing, but as the Agriculture Research Council, we are the eye and the ear to the world. So we listen to what is happening in the world, we try to bring it, and then encourage or promote agriculture research in the country. So you can see a big list of things that have not been there in the past, but that are there and that could be helpful. So we are there to look for that information, provide it, and work with researchers to do that. Research gaps, I've already talked about it. Because many entities are operating in kind of silos, there are many research gaps and missed opportunities that exist. So the council is busy identifying those gaps and then looking for funds and then propose that to the researchers in the country to work on that. So we have all that list, that big list again of things that are happening. A major important thing that has happened in the last, I think, decade or so is the issue of monitoring and evaluation. This has never been prominent in the past in big projects, but of recent, monitoring, evaluation, and learning from what is happening has become a big thing. So the Agriculture Research Council is putting a lot of emphasis on the issue of monitoring, evaluation, so that we ensure quality, we have the impact that we want, and then we have the adequate research that can guide policy and implementation in the agriculture research sector. So we are doing that. Another thing that we are about to start doing is supporting researchers with issues of intellectual property, patents, trademarks. How can they protect this? Many organizations do not really have a section to deal with that. And many times, several times actually, I can give examples for Zimbabwe, where the issues of IP and patents have not been taken seriously. Yeah? Number one, we have the issue of for plant breeders, this is interesting, we have the issue of our variety SR52. It was developed in Zimbabwe many years ago, but this variety was then marketed, I can say, from Cape to Cairo, wherever the conditions were suitable. And the country never benefited from that intellectual property as a nation. So these are issues to do with intellectual property that should not be happening as we move forward. On the animal side, I think some of you know that we have our own Mashona cattle brand. Amazingly, you find this cattle brand now in Australia. You also find it in the United States, but the country never really benefits. So there was no stringent patent protection of those innovations. So the ARC is there to really work with the researchers on IP, patent, and trademark to make sure that the country benefits from these innovations. We are also working on linking students with organizations and companies for industrial attachments. I'm getting to the end. Now, with all these things I've talked about, we have a very big challenge. Number one is staff. You'll be amazed to hear that at ARC, out of 7 senior scientific positions, only 2 are filled out. Just the CEO, who is acting patch scientist, as well as the crop specialist. So we need more staff. We are working with the government to ensure that these are funded. We need specialists monitoring and evaluation. We need specialists to do with gender. We need specialists to do with climate change, animal research, and the like. So that's a big issue that we are working around. Hopefully, we will address it gradually as we move forward. And then again, I've talked a lot about the budgets. Nowhere in the world will you ever have enough money to do what you want. So we have issues with budgets. Our budgets are done in Zim dollars, and I think everybody knows what happens with Zim dollars over a period of time. If inflation is serious, then that amount is just depleted, just like that. So we need to really work on generating our own funds and looking for other funds outside our government. And then, like I've said, our office accommodation, the land, and other resources are serious needs that need to be serious needs for paying attention to the Agriculture Research Council. So with this, I just want to thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope it was audible. I hope it was clear. And I will now hand you over to the chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Magorokosho, for your brilliant talk, which I think it was very informative. At this juncture, allow me to invite Dr. Prince Matoa, who is a research and agronomy manager with Mukushi Seeds, to lead us with the discussions. I think we have about 8 minutes for discussions. Over to you, Dr. Matoa.
Okay. Good afternoon, colleagues. Please allow me to thank Dr. Magorokosho for the nice presentation that he just delivered to us, running through the roles of ARC, the functions, the work that he has done, and also the ongoing and planned activities. I think most importantly, bringing the researchers together is very important. And we thank you very much for that, Dr. Magorokosho. If this was physical, we're going to clap hands for you, but unfortunately, we can't do that now. We'll do that when we see you. So my role now is just to connect you with the comments on the chat and also to hear if there are any reactions from the audience pertaining to the presentation that you have just made to us. So on the chat, there's a comment from Mary. She said, in your survey, I suggest that you ask for age rather than date of birth. Date of birth is sensitive information to those outside the country, or just leave it optional so that one can still submit the form. So this is a comment to the ARC, Dr. Magorokosho. I don't know if you want to respond to that.
Yes, let me respond to that. Thank you very much for that comment. And I just want to give two reactions to that. Number one, I just want to assure everyone that all the information that we are gathering here is really, really confidential. It will not be shared with anyone on an individual basis. So, for example, if we get information from Dr. Matoa, our interest is not his particular details, but what we want at the end of the day is aggregated data. So we'll not publish any information on an individual basis. It will be kept in strict confidence, and we will not do that. Number two, pertaining to the issue of date of birth, we understand you very well, and you may want to bear with us because number one, the reason why we ask for the date of birth is that we do not want to come back to you next year or even after 2 years and ask you for your age again. But once we have your date of birth, automatically we will know our age groups for our researchers as we move forward. The interest there is really not to know individual people's date of birth. I've looked at the database and I don't even remember looking at the date of birth for individuals. But what we want is to guide a policy to say, look, our researchers in Zimbabwe, do we have continuity plans? How can we plug or address these issues of serious turnover of staff, especially in government? So if we have a clear picture of what are the age groups, that is our main interest, not the individual age, then we can be able to tell government or even universities to say, look, we are short of master's students, we are short of PhD researchers. Can government or can universities really promote postgraduate studies? That is the whole idea of all this information. And what can government do to make sure that we have a continuity in agriculture research, to make sure that once somebody retires, they don't retire with that information. But if we don't have enough information about who is who and who is about to retire, who is entering into that, it becomes very difficult. So sorry for the long thing, but I think if some people are sensitive about their date of birth, we will make sure that we give that provision in the next survey. But I hope I try to understand to address why we did that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the reaction, for the comment to that, Dr. Magorokosho. Then the second comment and also the third one were referring to the record, to the presentation It's Fortune and Mawande. They wanted a recording of this presentation. I think Mr. Mangemba answered. They said you can contact Dr. Magorokosho for a copy of the presentation. Then Oswell said, can we have guidelines or instructions to the publications?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me react to the two quickly. Regarding the presentation, actually, I've sent a copy to Mrs. Nyakanda for the Zimbabwe Plan Builder so they can share that. But if you don't receive it, yeah, you are free to contact us for that. So no problem. The other one, sorry, the third one was to do with what, sorry?
It was from Oswell. You said, can we have guidelines or instructions to the publications? I think he's referring to how, yeah.
Okay, we can simply, Ms. Mangemba, if you are there, please share the link, or we can share the link with Mrs. Nyakanda to the ARC website where these guidelines are already there.
I have already responded to Oswell.
Okay.
But you can also share them. They are on the website and they've given the website.
Then there's another comment. Send your email address to ZPBA WhatsApp number if you wish to receive a copy of the presentation. I think this was from Mrs. Nyakanda to everyone participating here. Then also, it may be better to send on African Plant Breeders Association or send link where interested can download. Okay.
Yeah, okay, that's straightforward. We can do that. Ms. Nyakanda will share with you the link to the guidelines for the publications. Thank you.
Then we have another comment from Sibanda. Thank you, Doc, for the very informative presentation. I would like to understand on what exactly is implied by tax holidays for private sector partners and how we can guard against abuse of such a facility.
Okay, thank you very much. Tax havens are simply, it's tax holidays, sorry. These are simply tax issues that, okay, if you contribute to a social cause in an organized manner and under a certain policy, if you're a private company, then you are allowed, then you are not taxed to the full. That's what the tax holiday means. You are not taxed to the full in terms of the taxes that are due as a company, for example. So if you contribute, if a company, say Platinum Zimbabwe, contributes to agriculture research, they are not eligible to pay all the taxes that they are supposed to pay because they have been deemed to have contributed to social corporate responsibility. And this is common in almost all the countries. Now, in terms of guarding against abuse of that, there are various levels. Number one, the money doesn't just come from the company directly to, say, ARC. It goes through Treasury, and then it comes to ARC. And then once it comes to ARC, like I said, ARC does not do research. ARC is a technical committee that will call for proposals and concept notes based on available funds and also the research priorities that have been decided by the stakeholders. So it's not an individual, it's a technical committee formed by ARC and then non-ARC members, including people from Agritech, people from DRNS, and any other entity. So it's a committee, not individual, who decide on how the money is used. ARC is there just to manage the funds and then monitor and evaluate to make sure that the research is being done. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, but like
We also have
Dr. Matoa,
right.
once the tax grant is given, ARC is also subject to audit by the taxes to ensure that the money which was received to support research by the private sector is gone for a specific reason. So there are a lot of issues to do with that. If you take again local government, any private company which promotes the housing schemes, they are also given that same tax holiday. So there's a way the taxes can audit that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mangemba, for that insight. We also have two more comments, one from Fortune. Does the proposed journal have a website? And the second one is from Sibanda. Is it possible to get details of work by ARC being coordinated by IURI and universities? Over to you, Dr. Magorokosho.
Okay. I think that's okay.
And we can respond probably. I can assist Dr.
Yeah.
Magokosho.
Go ahead.
The work which is coordinated by ARC and for the e-lead funding is also done through the FANAPAN scheme. The identified universities are already participating, so it's sort of like water under the bridge. It's a small project which had a few universities participating in that. It was done way back in 2021, but it's ongoing now.
Okay. That's fine, Mr. Mangemba. Then I think the last comment is from Eddington. Yeah, he's just commenting that it looks like the correct website for ARC is www.arczw.ac.zw. I think maybe, I don't know, maybe there was some error in what was presented or something like that. I don't know.
That's okay.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I don't see any other hands raised. We only had comments. So maybe there's nothing more to discuss. I don't know. Participants, do you have anything more to ask to Dr. Magorokosho? I'm sure we are behind time. Casper had said we are left with only 8 minutes. We're supposed to do this in 20 minutes, but yeah, we started late. Any more reactions? If there are no reactions, then I suggest that we move on to the next thing on the agenda.
Thank you very much, Dr. Matua, for steering the discussions. I think at this juncture, allow me to invite Ms. Woe. She's standing in for Dr. Ghela, who was supposed to give us the closing remarks. I'm inviting Ms. Woe to give the closing remarks and also to close the meeting. Thank you very much.
A pleasant afternoon to you all. I'm confident that we have all enjoyed and benefited from this enlightening presentation of the role and functions of the ARC. First and foremost, I would like to extend my most sincere gratitude to Dr. Magorokosho. You executed the task with excellence, giving us a history of the ARC, the organizational structure, as well as the exciting initiatives you are taking to coordinate agricultural research in the nation. Thank you so much, Dr. Magorokosho. You certainly left no stone unturned. Secondly, I'd like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the coordinating team for this webinar, the ZPBA President, Dr. Magama, and his awesome team, together with the ARC for this very relevant webinar. In conclusion, I'd like to extend my most sincere gratitude to everyone who managed to join in the webinar. Please continue following ZPBA and ARC social media platforms so that you do not miss any of these exciting webinars. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day. And remember everything that Dr. Magorokosho said. We are all very important partners in ensuring that agriculture research will certainly work in the nation to reap the benefits that the whole nation is depending on us to reap. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everyone. The meeting is now officially closed.